kids.
What's up, players?
It's Carl.
And I'm Zach.
And today we're getting
heavy. Scales. Scales is what brings us together. These are a little bit of a different type of guitar.
Just a bit.
Just a little bit. This is a baritone guitar.
And this is an 8-string guitar.
Why do you need 8 strings?
You don't.
Okay. So, my axe today is my baritone MHB-400, the ESP LTD. It's a very, very good guitar. ESP's been making guitars for quite a while for a lot of heavy metal players. One of my favorites is a guy named James Hetfield and Kurt Hammett. They play for a little band called Metallica. Maybe you've heard of them. This is one of the more stock guitars I have. The only thing that is actually a modification is the bridge pickup. This is a Seymour Duncan Dimebucker, the pickup he made for Dimebag Daryl Abbott. Up top, it has Grover tuners, which are stock, which is very good. They're not locking, but one of the cool things about this guitar, it's got a volute at the top of the neck, right at the headstock, adds a little more meat there, but it's also very comfortable when you get up here. You kind of have a spot to land when you're sliding up and down the guitar. It's a matte black finish, very, very smooth, very effortless as far as moving on the neck. One of the favorite things I have about this guitar as far as just the guitar itself is a sustain monster. It is a neck through design, which means usually what they'll do is they'll take a couple planks of wood, they'll slap them together, and then this is actually one solid piece of wood. Once they glue it and cure it and everything, it is one solid piece of wood. It does have a pack for an active pickup battery if you wanted to do that. I assume that whoever had this before, when they bought it, it had active pickups. I believe they come stock with EMG 81 and 85s, as most heavy metal guitars do. Now, what makes this a baritone? This is a baritone. The baritone is a scale length, okay? And it is tuned a 5th down. So your standard guitar is tuned E to E. This is tuned a 5th down. These comes tuned B to B. This is a 27-inch scale baritone. They do make baritones in 28-inch and even 30-inch. At that point, just buy a bass. But you know how to play bass, don't you?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Once or twice.
So this is your 27-inch scale baritone. It's tuned down to A, or it's tuned drop A. Same concept of drop D. You got a low A right there. Famous band called Korn plays in drop A. But if you want to get some heavy sounds and some thrashing, some head banging, drive fast and hit people music, this is your weapon of destruction.
Look
right
no
here.
Further.
Look no further.
All right, so this is my Ibanez RG8. Stands for Roadstar guitar. The Ibanez came out in 1987. They came out with the Gem for one Mr. Steve Vai. They wanted a production model that was didn't have the monkey grip and didn't have the expensive tremolo system and all of that. So they wanted to come out with one they could sell to the everyman, and they came out with the RG Roadstar guitar, RG 550, which there are countless, too many to get into, models of the RG, but eventually we got the RG8, which is this bad boy right here. 8-string guitars kind of came to the forefront with a little band called Meshuggah, I think the late 90s, early 2000s. And then Animals as leaders, a lot of the newer guys that don't have a bass player, they came out, started using them. It has E to E regular guitar right here, and then you have a low B, just like on this one, or a 7-string guitar, and then a low F sharp, but I tuned this down to E, so it's actually drop E is what they call it. The RG8 comes stock with IBZ pickups, which I have changed out for DiMarzio D-Activators with a little coil splitty, so you can get some single coil kind of squawky sound if you want. Which, because you never know when you're going to need to play Meshuggah and then play Fleetwood Mac right afterwards. You know, you might need to. So
I want to see that cover band.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the more you know, like a stripped down Jim for the everyman. I kept the 3-way switch. I didn't put the 5-way Strat switch in it. But very, very nice guitar, very versatile. I also put some locking tuners on mine. You can see the 5-piece maple walnut neck here. A lot of real estate on this thing. It's got a really wide neck, but I guess you need that for the 8-string on it. But very nice guitar.
Go. So extended range guitars have really started showing up a lot more commonly in the heavy metal world and the rock and roll world, just because it's the natural progression. And you know, before everybody was tuning standard E, then guys were tuning half step down, and
in an effort to be darker and more brutal.
Absolutely, and that's the way it should be.
Exactly, the metal.
But the baritone actually got its start playing jazz music for the lower notes, for the range and everything like that.
As did the 8-string.
Absolutely, and yeah, and you didn't need a bass player if you had that thing.
Pretty much.
So.
But one of the things I really like about these DiMarzio D-Activator pickups, a lot of metal guys use active pickups, but the D-Activator, they were actually designed to give the actives a run for their money, that without the harsh, shrill high end. And this no battery, you know, mine you could put, I'm pretty sure you could probably cram a battery in there somewhere, but there's no need for it. These have incredibly bright and resonant qualities, and they have really percussive lows, but they're passive, so they don't utilize a battery. And then also they clean up really, really well. I don't know if you guys can hear the clear as a bell.
Yeah, and with the baritone, you know, just everything you play. If you were to play a normal standard E chord, it's a 5th down, so it's a B. But one of the fun things you can do if you have a baritone, and they make them that look a lot less mean than this, you know, nice sharp headstock, matte black finish. This is a mean looking guitar, but they even make them in acoustics. You capo on the 5th fret, you're back to playing standard E tuning.
You beat the system.
Absolutely, and then you can walk it down. Depending on your vocal range or the song you're playing, they're very, very handy to play. The most notable player that I have that started out with a baritone, and you can look it up, don't fire away just yet, Brian Head Welch of Korn. The early Korn albums were a 6-string baritone, not a 7-string.
Yeah, Monkey had the 7-string.
Monkey had the 7-string, and then Head got it later, and then Ibanez made him his signature one, but he started out with a 6-string baritone.
And Monkey's was an Ibanez.
Absolutely, and yeah.
Although this is an 8-string.
Yeah.
But it does all the chug-a-lug goodness that a 7-string can do.
Absolutely.
With the added bonus of an 8-string.
Yes. But yeah, the longer scale allows you to, for lower tunings, you will need heavier gauge strings. So toughen up those fingers, boys and girls.
Which, you know, it's worth mentioning, this doesn't need heavier gauge strings. I've actually got 9s on this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's 9, 11, 17 or whatever. And then the top is just like, it's like a 9 to 46.
46. Okay.
But then it's got... I think this is a 60. It's okay. It's the standard Ernie Ball 8-string, the one in the orange pack, just whatever it is. But it's basically like a skinny top, heavy bottom, because it's like a 9 to 46, and then it's got whatever this is in a 62, I think, or a 60 something or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite comfortable. If you know, if you like, I play nines myself.
Yeah.
So it feels like home whenever you're up in the top register doing all the bristly stuff.
And it's funny you say that, and we didn't rehearse this. This set of strings is actually that same exact string set. It's just the ones without the top and the bottom string on this exact same guitar. So whatever that is,
I think it's a 64, 62 or something.
I think it's, yeah, it's something like that.
Because it was a little too wide for the nut here. But if you give it a little heave-ho, you're good.
Yeah.
And this, I would say the cheapest thing about this guitar, because this is a very base model for an 8-string. I think brand new these go for about $399. But if you swap out the pickups, put some locking tuners on it, as I've done, maybe change the nut. I didn't, but you know, you could get maybe a Strandberg nut or something like that. 8-string nuts are kind of hard to find. But you know, you swap out the pickups, and I've also put the coil splitter in this one, so it's got the you know, the coil splitting action, like I mentioned. Right, exactly. So so it can sound like a regular Strat if you need to, very reminiscent of a Strat. But yeah, you get rid of those IBZ, as they would say in Europe, pickups, and get rid of the cheap tuners. And I mean, this is a great guitar. I love this thing. And I mean, it's not like you know, I don't need it for my Meshuggah cover band just yet. But if I did, I got one now.
That's right. One of these days I'll start a corn cover band and
call it creamed corn.
We're not editing that out. But yeah, if you want to get heavy, this is how you do this. This one is how you get heavy.
So, as I mentioned, this stock without the fancy DiMarzio pickups and the fancy schmancy open back hip shot tuning system, this thing retails for $399. So for under $400, you can find them used. I think about $280, something like that. But for, you know, under $300, you can get yourself an 8-string. You know, to start out with. I know Dean makes a really good entry model 8-string.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, this is not one of the fancier models. I've just made a few upgrades. But if you've ever thought about venturing into the 7-string or 8-string or the extended range
scale
world, you know.
This I actually I traded a guitar that I had to get this one because I wanted a baritone and I didn't want the guitar I had. He offered a baritone. Worked out.
Didn't cost nothing.
Yeah, I believe this guitar, when it was new, I believe this was around a $600 guitar. I have found them for about $300 on Reverb and,
you know,
Craigslist and everything.
eBay,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
But
use your resources.
Yeah, if you see that cheap guitar, go buy it. It could be the most fun you've ever had, the best decision you've ever made, and then you can chug-a-lug and do things like